I got a call and they said, we're doing this movie, Street Fighter, and I said I should play Zangief, and it came about like that.
And I suppose Andrew,
I'm doing the Irish accent on and off. I don't know if you noticed.
I do. It's really good, I have to say. And I suppose, Andrew, in terms of your background in trying out for Street Fighter for the character Zangief, did you have an extensive martial arts background or fighting background or stunts background?
Yeah, I have trained in different arts my whole life. I'm a combat athlete. And I'm also a Street Fighter 2 video game fan, from the beginning. So I spent a lot of quarters that I'd get from my dad's dresser on trying to master the Street Fighter 2 video game. I always played Ryu, but now I always play Zangief. I mean, I thought I knew what I had to do for the character. I had a definite sense of the character's sensibility by the way he was portrayed in art. I thought there was a lot of artistic reference to artist interpretations of Zangief, and they all showed that he was a little crazy and a little off. So I like to play characters like that. Funny's money and whatever is clever. Funny is money and whatever is clever.
And I suppose, Andrew, in terms of the Zangief, he's a specific type of look to him in terms of his character. Had you to change your appearance or to try and sort of fit the character design of the?
No, I was just your average 24-year-old bodybuilder walking around looking like Mr. T, Caucasian version. I wasn't. No, I'm interpreting a 50-year-old character like, Zangief was an older guy. I was 24, but I had the physique, and I figured I could just play the personality, and the age would be what it was, that people would overlook it, and I think they did. As far as the look goes, I basically shaved my head into the mohawk, grew the beard, and walked around like the white Mr. T, which was kind of worrisome at first, for me personally, like off the work, but I rocked it pretty well. I was the first big white guy looking like Mr. T with the Ray-Ban aviators, running around Thailand and the Gold Coast of Australia, playing my Zangief. I said it worked out well. They had to have a lot of clothes made. I was pretty big at the time, but I thought they costumed it well. I thought the whole thing came together well for me and my character.
And I suppose that is true. It came very well for you and your character. And I suppose one of the other stars
of the... say so much for all the characters of the game, though.
And I suppose, Andrew, in terms of Street Fighter itself, I suppose two big Hollywood stars were cast for the movie, Jean-Claude Van Damme and Raul Julia. And I suppose when you first met together as a cast, I suppose, were you sort of taken back, or were you aware that Raul Julia's illness, or were you sort of taken back when you saw him for the first time? Did he look frail or shook, or obviously he was, dare I say...
I was thrilled to be working with him, but I didn't know. I've worked with big stars prior. I mean, I was taken aback when I first saw his appearance, and then everybody knew he was ill. It was a problem for costuming, and they had to continually pat him more as he'd waste. But that was tragic. As terms of his presence and his powerful persona, he played it so big and with every ounce of his soul. So I thought that he overcame, a lot of that in terms of his performance being legitimate, even though he was dying at the time and he was wasting at a considerably scary rate. I think that the movie was able to keep it steady so that people didn't, it wasn't really, they made it work, in the end they pulled off his performance, and I think that, some of his lines in the film I quote to this day. I love saying that for me it was Tuesday. But his power and his presence were greater than his physical form. And I thought he did great justice to the character. And via con Dios, Raul, wherever you are, watching us and maybe hearing this interview, he's the best. God bless him.
I suppose, Andrew, in terms of the cast, I suppose some of the casts were cast very early, and then some of the casts were parachuted in at the last minute, probably 2 weeks before the movie. And I suppose for your fight choreographer or your stunt coordinator as well. Obviously, you had an extensive background in martial arts. Jean-Claude Van Damme had an extensive background. Damien Chap had a background. But there was people there like Kylie Minogue that came in, parachuted in 2 weeks for the Cammy character. Obviously, had no fighting.
I thought Kylie fought better than Damien Chapa.
How was that like training with actresses like that, like Kylie? Because she only probably had 2 weeks.
I didn't. I trained with Benny a little bit, just to work out. But it was Zangief. I didn't really do a lot of martial arts in the film. Zangief's a wrestler. It is what it is. A lot of things were more stunt than actual fighting. Actual pure stunt choreography more than fight choreography for me. But I didn't really train with the other actors. I just did my thing.
And I suppose, Andrew, in terms of the plot for Street Fighter, normally we see in the terms of the game, it's a tournament style, the computer game.
There was a plot?
Yeah.
There was a plot in the movie?
Well, I suppose it was about world domination, weren't it? An evil sort of dictator trying to rule the world against the forces of good trying to come against him. And then I suppose the characters picking the sides whether they were good or evil.
Right.
So,
absolutely right.
So in terms of that probably went away from the actual Street Fighter sort of tournament style element. Do you think that sort of worked well? And you saw, obviously you're a big fan of the franchise. You mentioned about playing the computer games. When you saw that for the first time, did you say that's a unique twist?
Well, they tried to make it live action. I mean, you run through Shadaloo, and basically it looks like the same, as some of the backdrops in the video game. They built elaborate sets for the movie, to encompass Bisonopolis and headquarters and all this, and they invented the UN kind of thing, but I think, you still get some classic challenge moments, like you got the Arms Bazaar, and you do have Shadaloo at the end with the temples. And they tried to incorporate some of the game design into the art design of the film.
Yeah,
you can't just have, an arena with a camera above you just shooting match after match and saying, fight!
That's a notable point. I suppose, Andrew, in terms of Street Fighter, there has been the one move.
Did you say a notable point? Because I could have a Guinness. That's a notable point.
That's true. I suppose, Andrew, in terms of Street Fighter as well, we've seen in the last decade or so a sort of series. I know Mortal Kombat had a series called Mortal Kombat Legacy. And do you think there's room for a sort of a series for Street Fighter, maybe a season on Netflix or something like that, where you could go back into the whole sort of history of the characters and different episodes? And if something like that came about, would you be interested in revisiting your role as Zangief?
Why, sure. Zangief, if Conor McGregor can come out of retirement, then Zangief can come out of retirement too.
And do you think there, I suppose...
Right? If Conor McGregor can come out of retirement, then Zangief could come out of retirement.
Yeah, I'm not going to argue with that point, Andrew. And I suppose, Andrew, in terms of, we see now in 2021 there's going to be a new Mortal Kombat sort of movie, and I suppose Mortal Kombat was the big rival of Street Fighter. Do you think, obviously, with that coming out, do you think the Street Fighter mass fan base will be pining for a new Street Fighter movie to come out in 2021? And I suppose it's a different type of audience now, I suppose, while the original Street Fighter was a bit camped.
Probably.
Yeah.
Because Capcom has a lot of money, but they probably shouldn't, because they really don't know how to make a movie. And I don't know if Street Fighter is going to get redone, if it would be any better than what we did. I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if they tried, because they have endless money to throw at the franchise. But would it be more effective? I don't know. I mean, we'd only know if they want to throw another $200 million at it, right?
That's true. And I suppose at the time, they were working with a 16 million budget, and I suppose 8 of that million budget went on Jean-Claude Van Damme, who played Colonel Guile. And everyone speaks about Jean Van Damme, about not only his martial arts, but his hard work ethic, in terms of his work ethic on set, in terms of
I thought they were talking about, the only thing I hear him talk about is that he spent $25,000 a week on cocaine.
Okay.
As far as his work ethic goes, he would say, "I'm not a piece of meat. You can't treat me this way." But then he would leave, and he'd be gone for 7 hours and make the crew wait all day.
Okay.
He doesn't really have a work ethic back then. That's why they ran him out of the business. And he came back into the business with a new attitude and strong. And I respect Jean Claude these days. He's a much better man than he was back then. But he was a real pain in the ass to work with. And I don't think he had a work ethic, I'm being honest.
Okay. And in terms of...
He would leave early and have his stuntman, Mark, a former Navy SEAL, shoot out everything so he could get out of there and go do coke.
Okay.
I hope you wanted a real interview, because, I just tell it like it is.
No problem in the world, Andrew. And I suppose in terms of the location, and I suppose the travelling for Thailand and Australia, as a cast, I suppose you were working in sort of conditions where, in terms of great heat, and I suppose long hours, and I suppose Capcom as well wanted the production to be finished by a December deadline, so that meant an awful lot of shooting in sort of quick time. Was an awful lot of pressure to get the movie done, and do you think they probably rushed a bit towards the end?
No, it was 5-star hotels and pretty good food. I mean, if you ever shoot television, or a low-budget film, I've been under a lot more pressure to shoot. I shot a feature film in 11 days. This is all on practical locations. So this was not, inconceivable. And the more people you have involved, the bigger the production, the more things you have to get to move. And the signal has to go through the machine. So things can take a lot longer. I'm sure other people in other departments had a lot more pressure trying to do it than I did.
Yeah, and I suppose...
For me, it's easy, I'm always up in the morning, ready to go. I take care of my food and get my metabolism going, stay in shape. And then I just hang loose and do whatever's clever until they're ready and the camera's set and they want to walk it and block some marks.
And I suppose, Andrew, in terms of the Zangief character, does he still hold a fond spot in your heart? You're the original Zangief. There has only been one Street Fighter movie, and you still get recognised even to this day. That people say that's Andrew Bryniarski, he was Zangief in Street Fighter. There's only been one Zangief so far, and how proud of you are that?
In the end, there can only be one. In the end, there can only be one. Like Highlander, right?
Yeah.
Only one Zangief. Listen, we just had the anniversary, the 25th anniversary, and they had a big celebration here. They did a screening celebrating it, and guys like you were calling, 25th anniversary. Yeah, it got some recognition. I'm pretty much recognized. Somebody call me Zangief every day, along with all the other characters that I play, along with other names that begin with, letters and have a lot of asterisks in the middle. that we won't repeat. But
Okay.
I get called a lot of names every day. As Zangief, it came up today just a little while ago before you called.
Okay. Andrew, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you on the airwaves.
Hey, let me ask you a question. How proud are you guys of Conor McGregor?
Very, very proud, Andrew. And I suppose
I'm a big fan, and this is going all throughout Ireland, huh?
Yep, it is indeed. And I suppose.
So, hey, I want to shout out to my boy Conor McGregor. I hope you kick Khabib's ass and get to it. And I hope I meet you sometime soon, maybe in Vegas. If you're ever around, look me up, Conor. Come out to Los Angeles, holler at your boy. Keep going. Glad you're out of retirement, making Ireland proud. And, I'm half Irish. My mother's maiden name was Daly.
Okay. On that note, Andrew Bryniarski, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you on the airwaves this evening in our special Street Fighter documentary, reliving your role as Zangief in Street Fighter, 25 years on from the original movie. We wish you all the best, and hopefully, please God, there'll be another Street Fighter.
God bless Raul Julia, Phil Lynott, and Gary Miller.
Yes, indeed. God bless those departed souls, and hopefully as well, Andrew.
Gary Miller is the best guitar player that ever picked up 6 strings in an axe.
And hopefully, Andrew Bryniarski, if there's a Street Fighter sequel, we'll get to see you relive that sort of role as Zangief. Andrew, a pleasure, and take care.
I'd love to. God bless and see you around, bud.
Cheers. Take care, Andrew.